We shall continue. It's new. As I said, different sessions. We've got a different slide there. So there we go. Still part of element 3. This is element 3. It's human factors. Just a little starter there. A lovely quote from Albert Einstein. I'm only certain of 2 things: the infinity of the universe and man's capacity for stupidity. But actually, I'm not so sure about the universe. What a great quote. This is what we look at. The human factors in health and safety. If we want to prevent things going wrong, then training is a very good way of doing it. So we want people to stay reliable so they don't have accidents, they don't cause problems. Then, you know, good training does help. So reducing the risks of human reliability, I think reducing the risks of human unreliability. Okay. And it's training. When we talk about training, it's managers, you know, it's about employees, everybody, whatever role people have. So we want people to do a good job, but we make sure we got the right training, including specialists like yourselves as safety people. And other roles, a lot of safety people have more than one role in the company. So, you know, like we will need training to get to where we are, or where we want to be. But what circumstances may lead to someone needing additional training? So just a couple of minutes again, just jot down your thoughts on what might lead someone to needing training or additional training. We might have observed somebody not following the rules or unsafe practices. You know, as a manager, as a supervisor, as a safety person, you know. So this one, it's not sure how clear that picture comes out to you, but somebody sitting in the bucket of a machine is really not the ideal. So if we see something like that happening, think, right, okay, we need some more training. Say after accidents, you know, this actual event, it was a distraction accident. It was somebody was driving along. They didn't see the yellow pipe in there. It's actually guides for reversing vehicles. They didn't see them because they were distracted because somebody was walking next to the forklift truck and they were talking. But there you go. Common cause of accidents, distractions. So human factors. There's various things. The human factors made up of all sorts of things. As humans, we're made up of all sorts of things. Different personalities. You know, you've got your shy, timid people, your more introverts. But then you've got on the opposite end of the scale, the extroverts, the outgoing, sort of like, you know, an outgoing person might think nothing about breaking a rule break a rule without hesitation to achieve an aim. So different types of personalities. So, you know, from the point of view of recruitment, getting the right person into the right job. People are motivated by different things. I mean, when we're young, generally it's, you know, just the basics of life, a bit of money, shelter, food, you know, that sort of thing. I'm not going to go down as various theories of this, but it's just to say that the motivations can change. We look at what motivates someone to take a particular action. For instance, somebody's doing piecework, you know, like packing envelopes. They're in a direct mail thing, they're packing envelopes. The more envelopes they pack, the more money they get. If that sort of promotes, you know, they're after the money, so they may cut corners, they may not take the rest breaks or lunch breaks. You know, so it's just things that people, so what motivates someone to take a particular action. So part of accident investigation is looking into these sort of things. So human factors then, you know, look at different personalities, there's different things that motivate people. Look at different attitudes. Oops, let's click on that. There are different attitudes. So you get your positive attitude, your negative. The positive attitude is, yeah, great, let's do this. Like, so it may be new procedures, it may be new equipment or new rules in the workplace. Yeah, brilliant, go for it. But then you get the more negative attitude. Oh, what's the point? Nothing ever changes. Like, it's not going to make any difference. So your different attitudes of people can be, it's all part of these human factors. And then you've got sort of like your stereotyping and your aptitude, the natural skill, natural ability to do something. And so we're a mix of different levels of these things. Perception, how we translate the information that we take in. So we see things, we hear things, and it's what we translate in our brains and make a decision to do something. So perception to risk. We talk about older, more experienced people usually have a better understanding and a better perception of risk due to their experience in life. Whereas a younger person, when we're very young, we don't perceive danger at all. We're more likely to be risk takers, take that chance because we don't see it as a danger. So perception, stereotypes, stereotype, certainly that person comes from that part of the country, they can't possibly do this job, like, it's also, I'm not giving a very good example, but I appreciate, but without upsetting lots of people, I can give lots of examples, but I'm not going to. Certain conceptions of what someone is, what they're like, what they're going to do, can't possibly be clever, like if they come from, I don't know, a council estate in South London, like, I'm not denigrating South London, that's where I'm from. Okay. People's different abilities, their physical and their mental capabilities. It's all part of being the human being. Mental capabilities, but everybody's different. Memory capacity. There's a thing as you get older, your short-term memory tends to go. Well, yeah, I think it's quite true. But we have different capacities, different capabilities, different capacities. Physical, mental. So certain people, getting the right person in the right job. Somebody who's not very strong, we'll put into a job involves a lot of maybe manual handling, etc. It may not be the ideal. On the other hand, it could build them up and make them stronger. I'd be very careful with recruitment and getting the right people in the right job. Take into account all these different factors. Age, culture, social background, genetics can all have an effect on people's attitude to risk, attitude to health and safety, and to following rules, etc. So human factors. It's quite a wide-ranging subject. On this particular course, we're not going too in depth into it, but just to say, that's about perception there, how we take information in and what we do with it. Sometimes it's used in accident investigation about why did you make that decision which led to that accident. Look at all the information that went into that person, the things they saw from dials and readings, things they were hearing, like buzzes, vibrations, and they sort of come to a conclusion to make a decision to take action, and it could be the wrong action that's led to the accident. So it's how we interpret things, how we interpret information. Okay. Does anybody see these pictures being curved lines? Yeah. That's how it looks. It's a perception thing. They're actually dead straight. It's just the way the black and the white tiles are, offset. So it gives the impression of being quite bendy. In fact, you look at it long enough, you might be able to see the rest of the presentation. But yeah, it is. It's a perception thing. It was put into a workplace perspective. The decor of a workplace would come into, we don't want too much black and white in this respect knocking around. It would send people mad. But seriously, in a rotating, spinning part of a machine, if it's depending on the type of light in the area, it could actually come to a point where it looks like it's not moving. And so perception-wise, somebody might think, oh, it's not moving. Go to put a hand on it and find it is rotating, but it's matching the flicker rate of the light above it. Like it's a fluorescent light in particular, and yeah, that could be a big major problem. They think it's not dangerous. You put a hand on it, find it is spinning, might lose their fingers or worse. So yeah, so perception to risk. I wasn't going to do this one. Here we are. Okay, we have an elephant. And I'm just going to throw in a question. How many legs are on that elephant?
4.
If we were in the classroom, I was going to ask you to come out here and point them out.
Well, it's an elephant, so it has 4. But what you see is irrelevant. We know that an elephant has 4 legs.
We do know that an elephant has 4 legs, unless it's lost one, in which case it might only have 3. Okay, but this is a very clever picture. It's that perception thing, a very clever picture, because okay, it looks like we've got a leg here. We seem to have one there, one there, one there, one here. It seems to have a number of legs, more than the usual. But as you know, an elephant has 4 legs usually. Okay, right, just one more on this bottom left-hand corner. Some people see 2 pictures there. Some will only see 1. Does anybody see a saxophone player?
Yeah.
Anybody
And a woman.
And a woman, yeah. So there you got in the black, you've got saxophone player or saxophonist. But then you've got sort of like the outline of a woman. So there's her left eye, there's the lips, and the other eye will be in there. So it's just a shadow thing. But yeah, it's funny. We've used this in the classroom for years. And some people see it straight away, both pictures. Some will only see one or the other. But once you point it out to people, when they see both, perception. Yeah, it's what we're taking in this picture and seeing. And just to say, the top left-hand, the left-hand dot is the same size as the right-hand dot. So preventing human error and violations. Just out of interest, again, I'm just going to point out for reference purposes, there's an HSG 48. It's a health and safety guidance note. This is a very old copy I've got in front of me, but it's reducing error and influencing behaviour is the name of the actual of the HSE guide, and it all relates to what we're doing now. Now it says error. Excuse me. It says error or violation. When we talk about an error, we're talking about a slip of action, something accidental, not something deliberate. You know, but lapse of memory, forgetting to do something. Or a slip of action, pressing the wrong button for whatever reason, you know. So they're accidental errors, but it's still part of human error. Then you've got violations. They are deliberate, willful things. So a good example is PPE, personal protective equipment. Violation, not putting your hard hat on. Deliberately, I'm not going to wear a hard hat, it's too hot. An error would be forgetting to put the hard hat on. Okay. Or if hearing protection, you know, putting the wrong hearing, forgetting which one you're supposed to use, putting the wrong hearing protection on, so it's plugs, valves, or muffs, ear muffs. So yeah, so there's a difference between violation and error. Violation is a deliberate, willful action. Error is it's a mistake, not deliberate. It's just an accidental mistake, whether we pressed the wrong button or forgotten to do something. There we are. So HSG 48, it covers, it sets them out into areas. What we do with human factors, we're looking at things about the individual, things about the organisation, so company-wide, and things about the job or the task itself. So as individual or brackets personal factors, an example like motivation. So looking at people's attitudes, looking at their motivations. We can't change someone's character. You know, our characters are like preordained, really. It's difficult to change someone's character. Their general personality is quite fixed. But we can change people's attitudes. We can give them different motivations, you know, like to achieve what we want our employees to do. So, you know, you've got those personal factors there, you know, making sure people, you know, from a point of view of reducing or preventing human error, making sure people are suitable for the task, suitable for the job they're doing, got suitable qualifications or suitable knowledge or relevant knowledge. So it's about getting the right person into the right job, the right competence, the right skill levels, you know, the right sort of personality. As an example, you don't want a panic merchant to be a first aider. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. We can change people's perception as well with training and knowledge and what have you. We can change people's perception to risk by giving them all that training, put them on a safety course. Okay, so you've got the personal factors. So for the three-pronged attack here, personal, job and organisation, the company can look at their people, their actual employees, and what can we do to prevent accidents, what can we do to prevent human error. I mean, obviously on top of that, we look at the job itself. They always talk about job factors, things like a problem could be lack of correct equipment. So, again, making sure they've got the right equipment would be a good thing to have in place. A suitable workload, not overloading people with too much work. And I know so many people that say I've got too much to do. And it's, regardless of size of organisation, and I think in this day and age, the 24-hour communication thing doesn't help either. People have a difficulty having an absolute break from work. Okay, so the workloads there, the working environment, can also sort of be an issue here. And it would depend on what the job is, what machines we're using, etc. Having suitable displays and controls, nice and clearly marked, so we don't accidentally hit the wrong button. And it's just almost leads into ergonomics, which is not something we're doing today, but it is it's all interconnected. All these safety subjects interconnect. And so with our machines and with our sort of whatever displays and controls, making sure we don't accidentally hit the wrong button. So if it's a crucial thing, okay, deleting a file on a computer. You can't just press one button and delete a file. We can't just press it once. When you go to delete something, it comes up with a confirmation screen. Confirm you want to delete, yes or no, or, and that's a deliberate thing. It's trying to prevent accidents, trying to prevent accidentally getting rid of things that we actually wanted to keep. And so we've got our human factors. We've got our things, things to prevent human error. So we look at the personal side of it, the actual employees. We look at the job itself. Making sure you've got the right equipment, making sure we're monitoring and maintaining the equipment to keep it in tip-top condition. Well, on the company-wide things, the problems could be lack of suitable, sufficient risk assessments. Therefore, to reduce human error or prevent it, hopefully, we'll have the right risk assessments. We'll have the right, the good safety culture, which again just ties in with today nicely. Good safety culture, making sure we've got good communication, suitable work patterns. So if it's shift patterns, hours of work, etc., making sure people are getting regular enough rest breaks. Remember, a rest break is to prevent someone getting tired, not to recover from being tired. And so part of the organisational side of things, the overall sort of like leadership of the company, maybe make sure these things are in place, make sure we've got enough resources, human resource or financial resource, etc. So we've got the right tools and equipment that ties back in with the job factors. Okay, so after that, now I've got an exercise. It says, I'll do it in a breakout thing. It says non-compliance with safety procedures by employees has been identified as one of the possible causes of a serious accident at work. Okay. There we are. Right. It's about lack of training, maybe lack of perception to the risk. It's about lack of understanding leads to that, that no perception of the risk. They could be under the influence of drugs or alcohol, which affects, decision making quite often. It could be down to their age or maturity. Peer pressure. Peer pressure can work two ways, very well or very badly. You mentioned distractions. So not following you, just distract, very noisy environment or very dusty or very hot environment or a very cold environment. Like can affect the concentration, it can affect the way we operate. But yeah, it is. It's the easier something is, the more likely it's to be followed and understood and followed. Okie dokie. So, the human factors, it covers these, quite a wide range of things. In what practical ways can a manager or a manager could involve employees in the improvement of health and safety? What can a manager do to make sure, employees follow the rules, etc.? Good for production as well. So yeah, that's important. Always have safety on the agenda. So having safety meetings, even like depending on the size of the company, you might have a safety committee. like a manager might think, right, let's have a safety, regardless of union or non-union, let's have a safety committee, let's have a talking shop between employees and employers, sort of thing. Our suggestion scheme, getting people to come up with ideas. Okay, right, so just to review then, now I'm going to go with 6 questions. So question 1 is, how would you describe a health and safety culture? So it's not a verbal, just write down the answers. 2, what are the four main parts of HSG 65? 3 personal factors. Give 3 personal factors that might contribute to poor human behaviour. 4 is the 3 headings used to deal with human factors. It says, are job, task, individual, true or false? 5, motivation is the way we see hazards, true or false? And 6, what process is starting, it should say, apologies, what process is starting with C, as in the letter C, could assist in creating the health and safety culture? Hopefully you got right, description of a safety culture. You want something like shared values and beliefs with regards to health and safety. Okay. And when we talk about HSG 65, simple as plan, do, check and act. Personal factors, things like attitude, motivation, personality, aptitude as well. Okay. And the 3 headings, we've had them on so many slides in the last 20 minutes. Job, individual, organisation. Whereas that says job, task and individual. Job, task, same thing. So the actual headings, that is false. The actual answers or the actual headings say job, individual, organisation. Motivation is the way we see hazards, true or false? That is false. The way we see hazards, we talk about perception. And all the C's of safety. So now safety culture, about consultation, communication, control, cooperation, competence. There's another one. Thank you very much.